You know what I think we should call Brown Mogotsi from now on? Brown self-sabotage Mogotsi. Because there's no other way to describe what's just happened with him. He's been denied bail again today after he brought an application for bail on new facts. And that means he's going to be staying behind bars indefinitely as his case is yet to begin. So let's talk about it. Welcome to News Made Simple with me, Mogotsi. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a returning subscriber, I want to give you a special thanks because of you, if you're a subscriber, we are even closer to our 10,000 subscriber mark. And if you are new here, welcome to the family. It's so good to have you. This is News Made Simple. My name is Mogotsi and I am the host. Before we begin, I want to make this call because this is so important to us right here on News Made Simple. We are edging closer to the 10,000 subscriber mark, and we need you to help us reach that mark. So please press that subscribe button, tap on it, I think that's how you say it, and we would really, really appreciate that. Thank you so, so much for your continued love and support. All right, let's get into what's going on with Brown Mogotsi, because if there was ever the self-sabotage of the century, it would be this. Brown Mogotsi was arrested in May. He was arrested after he had a really difficult time testifying at the Madlanga Commission. And it seems the investigators and the police who were going to be effecting the arrest were camping outside the Madlanga Commission because he literally drove from the Bridget Mabandla Center onto the N1 highway, and he was arrested basically between Centurion and Midrand, moments after he finished his testimony. And once that happened, we were all wanting to know what this is about. Now, he was arrested in connection with this incident where his car had been shot at, and it seemed to be, or it was supposed to look like, an attempt on his life. However, police believe that he staged the entire thing. You may remember this, it was from late last year. Now, Mogotsi then appeared in the Johannesburg Magistrate's Court. And honestly, when I heard the charges against him, I think there was a defeating the ends of justice charge. There was possession of firearm charge, as well as shooting a firearm. I think that's discharging is the correct term. Discharging the firearm and perjury. It shouldn't be so difficult to get bail on charges like that because those are not Schedule 5 or 6 offenses. And I believe that's why the state was not initially opposing bail. During that first court appearance, Brown Mogotsi's, or the investigators of that case, said that they would be going to Mahikeng to verify his address in preparation for the bail hearing. When they came back, they couldn't verify his address. Mogotsi insists that he lives at a specific address in Mabato in Mahikeng. However, the investigators are finding that what he claims to be his address is not his address, and he in fact doesn't live there. And so he brought a bail application and his bail application was denied. And that's important because the idea around bail is that the court must be convinced that you will stand trial. So you will come to court. Remember, rejecting a person's bail application, especially when it's not high schedule cases, is pretty rare. So the court must be convinced that you will attend your case even though you are released on bail. Now, clearly with the discrepancies around Brown Mogotsi's address, they couldn't do that. So the court was not comfortable in granting him bail, and his bail was denied. Now, there was a whole lot of other controversy around his declarations and what he said was true and what the state claims it was actually false. Now, I wasn't surprised when Mogotsi said that he'd be bringing a bail application on new facts about a week and a half ago, because quite frankly, again, I think he was advised that getting bail with your charges should not be difficult. We just need to convince the court that you live in this place, they have your correct address, and we are good. Now, what Brown Mogotsi did is that he brought a bail application on new facts, but he really didn't present any new facts. He presented almost the same facts, he gave the same address, and he gave supporting documentation to confirm that he actually lives in this place. He brought a bill, a Wi-Fi bill with the address, and I suppose it's got his name on it as well. And then he also had a neighbor's affidavit to confirm that he lives in that area. And then during the bail hearing, investigators revealed that not only was Brown Mogotsi from prison getting in touch or in contact with some potential witnesses, but his wife had also been to the neighbors or to the owner of that property to go and intimidate them to confirming that Brown Mogotsi actually lives there. And as a result, there is an intimidation case against his wife as well. What kind of people are these? And so the bail hearing was heard, and today judgment was delivered. And the court has denied him bail again. And I want to tell you one of the reasons, or some of the reasons, that the court has given for denying Brown Mogotsi bail. The court has found that the address that Brown Mogotsi presented, saying that that's his address, is not a new fact. Now, when you bring a bail application on new fact or on new facts, circumstances should have changed. Something must have changed for the court to grant you this bail. But Brown Mogotsi merely brought the same address and used that as a new fact. And the court says that is not a new fact. The court has also rejected a couple of the things that Brown Mogotsi has presented as evidence. It has rejected the proof of address, that Wi-Fi statement, because there are discrepancies regarding the date on that statement, and Brown Mogotsi couldn't explain that. The court also rejected the affidavit that was presented by his neighbor. I found it interesting that even though the state had presented the fact that the Brown Mogotsi's wife was interfering with neighbors, and there's an intimidation charge against him, the court really didn't deal with that. But that certainly does count, because the state is then saying that Mogotsi has the potential to interfere with witnesses once he's released on bail, which is critical. The court must not believe that you or any of the people around you, if you're an accused, have the ability or the potential to interfere with investigations. So what his wife did there, is a big own goal. And that's why I keep saying this is Brown self-sabotage Mogotsi. Now, the court has found that there are no new facts, but Mogotsi merely reshuffled evidence. Magistrate Annelies Klapi denied him this bail on new facts, or the bail appeal, and now we have to wait and see. The charges against Mogotsi, just to remind you, is unlawful possession of a firearm. So the state believes that the firearm that he had, that he used to shoot his own car, allegedly, he did not possess lawfully because he doesn't have the required documentation. Possession of ammunition, discharge of a firearm in a public area, which is illegal, defeating the ends of justice, and perjury. Now, the defeating the ends of justice would have been that he would have tampered with the scene, staged the whole thing. That's defeating the ends of justice. And the perjury charge is when you go to the police and you lie, and you just depose of an affidavit and you sign it, but it's a lie, you have perjured yourself. So that's where the perjury charge comes from. And now he has to face these charges from behind bars. Absolutely unnecessary. Brown Mogotsi, if he was properly advised with proper and good lawyers, he could have been home now, waiting to start his trial. But now he has to spend more time behind bars, all because of this self-sabotaging that he keeps on doing. And so that's what happens now with Brown Mogotsi. I don't know, what do you think about what the court has found here? It's clear that the court does not believe Brown Mogotsi tells the truth and is a credible person, I don't want to say witness because he hasn't taken the stand, but is not credible. And that's imperative. That is so important. What can Brown Mogotsi do right now? Well, he could escalate this to the High Court and, quite frankly, directly challenge the bail finding or the judgment of the magistrate's court. And you know what? I think he has a chance, only if he has the right lawyers. Unfortunately, sometimes our lawyers, or the lawyers that people present in court, is the only reason why their cases and their matters don't make it very far or don't succeed. So I'm sure that he'll be exploring his options, and he might just escalate this to the High Court. But that's the latest on Brown Mogotsi. He stays behind bars as his trial is yet to begin. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to remind you, remember to subscribe. We are coming very close to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for your time. This was News Made Simple. Until next time, it's goodbye.